letters in his hand from King Louis, from King Charles, declaring that he is the new Spanish governor. The people who reside here, they are very, very French, and they don't like this one little bit. So in true American fashion, they took up arms and they stormed the governor's home, demanding that he be expelled as a disturber of peace. Now, the previous governor, a man named Aubrey, had gotten wind of this, and he warned Ulloa, ushered him and his family out to a ship on the Mississippi, where they hid. The revolters got word of this. They go out there. Now, these guys aren't fighters. They're not soldiers. They have no interest in storming this boat. It's a lot easier just to cut the anchor. The ship floats on down the Mississippi. Ulloa's last image of this colony that he ruled over so briefly is of all its people standing on the riverbanks singing songs of praise, waving goodbye, glad you're leaving. Very mature. Probably not such a good idea. For the next year or so, these people enjoy their favorite kind of government. No government. Until another gentleman arrives. One Don Alejandro O'Reilly. This man is an Irish expatriate working for the Spanish crown. Now, like I said, when Ulloa arrived, he came with letters from King Louis, from King Charles. When O'Reilly arrived, he came with 24 Spanish vessels and enough soldiers to more than double the population of this colony. Immediately, the leaders of this revolt, they realize that they screwed up. So they go to O'Reilly and they plead with him. They say, first and foremost, we have no problem with the Spanish crown. Always wanted to be Spanish, to hell with the French. But then they present all of these complaints. These are all documented. They swear that he stole half their land. He swapped their currency, French for Spanish, and took a quarter of it in the process. He used black magic to poison their drinking water.
No.
Turned their children into lepers.
No.
Apparently they got better. Then he built a satanic church in the governor's house, so he wouldn't have to worship here with the Sturks. Very lucky that they got rid of him when they did. Now, O'Reilly, he listens very patiently to all of this. Says, you know what, I'm going to form my own report. I'll get back to you. 12 days later, several men, quite a few men are arrested. There's a very speedy trial. O'Reilly himself acting as judge and jury. And these men are, of course, found. Very guilty. One of these guys, he's a planter. A printer. He's the only printer in the entire colony. You can go. 5 of them are given very lengthy prison sentences in South America. Right now, the Bastille is looking real good. The remainder of them, 6 men, are sentenced to the gallows. Now, the wives of these men, they go and plead for mercy. O'Reilly says, you know what? Fine, we're not going to hang him. We can't find a hangman in the colony anyway. We're going to shoot him. Next day, a firing squad forms here in the Place d'Armes, and these men are gunned down. Now, history's of 2 minds on the subject. On one hand, yes, he did act very, very harshly. But then again, this is treason. But what he did next would forever, it's just a television, I can see you. But what he did next would forever give him the name Bloody O'Reilly in the Louisiana history books. He wanted to send a message to the people of this colony what happened to those who were disloyal. So he ordered that the bodies of these men be laid out here in this alleyway to rot for all to see. Now, keep in mind, these are not common men. These are the most respected, most influential members of society. They're also very Catholic. The fact that they have not been given their last rites, the fact that their bodies are being desecrated so does not bode well for their souls. Also, this is August. Right now we're having a pretty pleasant August. Usually it's going to be in the high 90s, low hundreds. These streets are all dirt at this time. This is the Isle of Orleans as well. They haven't invented the pumps to get the water out. There's going to be an inch or so of water in this alleyway at all times. There's rats, there's mice, there's maggots, there's crabs. Day goes by, 2, 3, a week. You know what happens when you leave a body in the sun for too long?
Thanks.
You ever put a hot dog in the microwave for too long? After 9 days of this, the sounds of these bloated corpses popping is echoing through this alleyway like cat guns, and still they are not allowed to bury their dead. Now at this point, everybody's terrified of this man, but if there's anybody who's going to be able to stand up to him, it's going to be a member of the church. man named Pere Dagobert, a very beloved figure in our society. His image is immortalized in one of the stained glass windows on the front of the cathedral. He goes to O'Reilly, demands that they be allowed to bury their dead, and he is denied. So once more, they were fed up, they took matters into their own hands. On a very rainy night, Pere Dagobert and the families of these men came here, threw the Place d'Armes underneath the Spanish guns. They themselves, they're unarmed, they've got carts. They come here, they gather what they can, what remains of their loved ones, and they march in the pouring rain all the way down this alleyway. Pere Dagobert in the front, singing the Kyrie, legendary tenor voice, all the way up Orleans Avenue, 7 blocks up to where St. Louis Cemetery number 1 is, where finally these men were put to rest. Amazingly, it was decreed by O'Reilly that anybody that dared touch these bodies would suffer the same fate. You've got a procession of people 50 strong, and nobody saw a thing. Also, this must have left a very powerful impression here. It must have been a deeply profound experience for everyone that experienced it, everyone who watched it, because to this day, and of all the hauntings I'm going to tell you guys about tonight, this is the one where most often people do come back to me to report that they are actually experiencing what's going on in this alleyway. You come here during a heavy rainstorm, you can still hear the sounds of this funeral procession passing, particularly Pere Dagobert singing the Kyrie. You can witness the presence of all of these people, hear the footsteps as they walk by. I myself, I've just heard it. But those who are more sensitive than me claim that when the rain is hard enough, you can actually witness the apparitions as they pass by. This is Louisiana, folks. Before you guys leave, you're going to get a chance to at least try this out. Notice a lot of you are carrying cameras. Use them. Every night.
Because what if we saw something right now?
Every night somebody captures something on my screen.
Yes! It's going to be me.
All the time. I'll be pointing out some places where this is more prone to happen. Now,
We're going to get some EVPs later.
hopefully. In an effort to get away from all this madness, we're going to go to the darker, more residential areas of the quarter. I do want to point out, if you haven't noticed already, that cars do drive in the French Quarter. It's probably safe to assume that each and every one of these drivers is probably under the influence.
You think?
You
think? Even Shannon, who never drinks, is drinking.
I would hate to lose any of you in this fashion. However, if you should get mowed over, please yell out your name very loudly and clearly before you go down so that I can mention you on my next tour.